This week, the NHL witnessed history with the greatest goal scorer we've ever seen reaching yet another milestone. The future faces of the league have become the present by taking over as scoring leaders. We got franchises getting embarrassed, emotions running wild, and all kinds of drama in between. So, let's cover what really happened in Week 5 of the NHL season. Let's get this shaker started on Sunday with the Tampa Bay Lightning coming back to life. How about a little tic-tac-toe Remy Faso from Gord and Lilleberg looking like Gretzky and Lemieux on this play. That is some fine work really early, but it's got potential for SeatGeek Goal of the Week right there. Tampa is finding their groove early. They started off 1-4-2, and now they've won 5 in a row. Look out. Let's jump to the Blue Jackets having a 2-1 lead with 90 seconds to go, but you can't fall asleep at the wheel. Matthew Schaefer scores his second goal of the game to tie it up, and 30 seconds later, Holmstrom scores to make it 3-2 Islanders. They steal one. Big save Dave with a huge win for the Islanders. They get back to 500, and we also got to start the conversation about us potentially seeing one of the best rookie defensemen of all time in Matthew Schaefer, youngest rookie D ever to have a multi-goal game. He's making history right now. Meanwhile, here's what blown leads can do to you. They caught Mers Lincolns in near tears after the game. The game is the game, gentlemen. It ain't always kind. Pour one out for Philly also. They somehow lost to the Flames. That's ugly. You could cleanse the palate from that game with a bit of Ducks and Devils. I absolutely love watching Anaheim play hockey right now. Beckett Seneke is a dark horse for the Calder as he stays red hot with a goal and an assist, while Lucas Dostal stops 32 of 33 to defeat the Devils. The Ducks are young, talented, and potentially playoff good. A lot of season left to go, though. At least that's what the Sharks are saying to themselves. And dragging the boys into the mix is Macklin Celebrini. He and Maurice Satter go at it. An unbelievable net front battle, and neither guy given an inch. That's how you gotta work right there. The Sharks tie this up late to force extra time. We go to a shootout where James Van Riemsdyk, the Pigeon himself, goes backhand, forehand, sweet dreams. The Red Wings' solid start continues as they're now 9-4 to end Sunday. Now on to Monday for the Dubas Bowl. Yes, the Penguins and the Leafs. The Jays are out now, so all eyes are on the Leafs to help bring a city out of depression. There's never been a funnier sentence than that right there, but even funnier is in the first 40 minutes of this one because it was an absolute shit-kicking by the Penguins. Out shooting Toronto. Crosby out here laying none of the sauce for goals. You got Malkin literally talking to his teammates mid-power play. You see him gesture. He says, move that stick. Then he sets up the Wonder Kindle for the power play goal. It's a disaster in Toronto. There's let's go Blue Jays chance busting out in the crowd. This right here is the definition of the parade being canceled. And then Berube may have went into the dressing room and smacked every single player in the mouth, because Leafs captain Austin Matthews comes out and sets the tone right away. He gets a break and tells Jarry to close his damn legs. Will Nye, the science guy, gets 2 of his own, and then Bobby McMahon gets the go-ahead goal for a late 3-goal comeback in the third. Jarry Shanghai classic right there. The parade is back on. I don't know what everyone in Toronto is so worried about. The Leafs are just fine. Over in St. Louis, boy, is this team on the schneid right now. 7-game losing streak. No one thought they were this bad. But the Blues, they always do this. First half of the season, everyone writes them off. Then they become unbeatable in the second half and get a little magic to go with it. Tonight, that magic was there. Down by 2 goals, they come back, and in the final minute, Puig Suter puts one home as the Oilers blow it. Maybe that is exactly what St. Louis needs to get going here, or maybe not. Another team that wants to get going too is Vancouver, sponsored by your local hospital. The Canucks are still banged up, but they're finding ways to stay afloat. Quinn Hughes is back, which is huge, but a big reason why they get it done tonight was the Brock star, Brock Besser, coming back after taking a clap bomb to the nuts. He gets not 1, but 2, including this OT winner. Cheeky little feed from Elias Pettersson too with this little chop suey pass right to Besser. That's the end. The Canucks get a much-needed win. Finally, it's the Chicago and Seattle Rochambeau, where the Kraken continue to impress me so far. 2-goal game from the captain, Jordan Eberle, and their style reminds me of the way that they were playing when they made the playoffs a few years back and took down the Avs, which is exactly how they need to play with their roster construction. They lock up Chicago, who's below 500, which means, of course, we can welcome back calling them the Bedards, and we can welcome back me telling you yet again that if you want to see your favorite team live and in person, you gotta start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is easily the best app for finding deals on tickets, whether it's hockey, football, concerts, you name it. Every ticket on SeatGeek is graded on a scale from 1 to 10, so you instantly know if you're getting a good deal. If it's red, stay away. If it's green, that's a gem, and you should be all over it. Seriously, if you surf SeatGeek on a game day, you can find some absolute banger last-minute deals. The Jays ripped out my heart now, so it's time to get out to the Scotiabank Library and watch the Leafs. We know the Leafs aren't going to bring me any satisfaction, so the only thing that will truly cure my sports depression is knowing I got a good deal on tickets using the app. You know I got you covered. You can use code HOCKEY2025 for 10% off your next tickets at SeatGeek. That's any tickets, anytime, anywhere. Just hit the link in the description to download the app. It'll automatically apply the code to your account so you're ready the next time you find a deal. Big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring these weekly recaps. Let's get into Tuesday's games. All right, Tuesday was electric, which makes sense as to why we're starting at the Bell Center. The Habs are down 3-0, 8 minutes into the game. Philly is running their show early on, but then they do what they've done all year, the comeback kids. A 4-goal second period, 2 of them from Kirby the Doc Ock. Then the heavyweights get into it. Jack Guy versus Delorier. They both shed the mitts. This game has got everything. Philly does find a way to tie it up late. We go to a shootout where Trevor Zegras, the best shootout man in the business, calls game. Flyers take a wild one and hand Montreal their first extra time loss of the season. Now, if you're a Rangers fan going to a game at MSG, my dear boy, I'm sorry for your loss. Rangers fans have forgotten what their goal horn sounds like by now as they get shut out again by Carolina on home ice. That's already the 4th time this season. If the Rangers could just figure out their offense, they would actually be a decent team because defensively, they're pretty good. Then we go to the other part of New York on Long Island, and rule number 1, don't touch Matthew Schaefer. Zadorov throws a full-on punch at Schaefer when he's down, and everyone on the Islanders jumps in as they should. Pure chaos. Somebody show the Leafs that footage. That's how you stick up for a teammate, especially the future of the franchise. Boston, though, starting to feel it. The Boston Houdini, Hustaninov, has a big night, ties it up, and then wins the game in the shootout. All of a sudden, Boston has won 4 in a row. Would you look at that? Meanwhile, in Buffalo, the Mammoth keep on rolling, but here's a nice little stat. The Sabres have only lost 1 game in regulation in their last 10. They've been piling up the loser points with their 5-4-4 record, and at this point, Buffalo would take anything just to get into the dance. So that's a win in my book. Now, I called it last week, so act surprised when I tell you that McJesus put up a couple 8 or 10 points in 3 games or something like that without anyone noticing. After a 2-point night, he leads the league in scoring, and he's arguably had the worst start of his career. Rantanen, though, is going to say, hold my beer. He gets a pair himself, and Leon Draisaitl puts his bid in for SeatGeek goal of the week in the shootout. Little Forsberg move. Whoop. Just going to tuck that around you, fella. That's good stuff, but it ain't enough for the dub as Dallas takes it in the shootout. Then on to the Preds versus Wild, and don't skip this one. We got a buzzer beater. Steven Stamkos, holy, remember that guy? He goes full Stammer time and wires one home vintage with 0.3 seconds left. That gets a pity point for everyone in the toilet bowl. Then we see a vet move for my beer league tendies out there. Eustace Anuna knows he's going to get absolutely cooked on this cross crease, so he's going to go for the old I'm going to try and push off the post and completely knock the net off. You just can't do that, though, and if you do, you can't make it look so damn obvious. The goal counts and the Preds lose. The Lightning and Avs Rochambeau, and this game was all speed, gentlemen. Lots of it in the game, but also Gabriel Landeskog, the captain, chucking bombs to get his team back into it after being down early. That's how you get the boys fired up. Victor Olofsson, 2 goals in this one, could be a sneaky little fantasy ad for you, by the way. He's getting some power play one time. The Avs win and snap Tampa's 5-game win streak. Now we can get the shutouts out of the way here. Akira Schmid, 24 saves, tells Detroit to hold the L, and Kemper does the same to the Jets in a 3-0 win. But the finale came in Anaheim where Cutter Gauthier has a legacy game. Yeah, the kid that Torts didn't know from a hole in the wall is out here getting a hattie, and all of a sudden, he's tied for the league lead in goals. That was followed up by Uncle Leo Carlson coming in and smoking Evan Rodriguez. He gets a 5 in a game for that. The Panthers can't capitalize, in between the Canucks and Panthers, they could fill an entire hospital with their injuries as Rodriguez was out for the game too. The Ducks put up a touchdown against the defending champs to end the night, and they've won 4 in a row now, while Florida sits dead last in the Atlantic. I know no one cares or is worried because it's the goddamn Panthers, but I will say this. Sam Bennett has off to a slow start. The Conn Smythe Trophy Trophy winner only has 4 points in 13 games, but he's never been a regular season guy even to begin with. So even though he got paid in the summer, he truly earns his money in April. Heading into Wednesday, we witness history. Ovi has had a slow start to the season, but is one away from 900 against the Blues, and look at this sick puppy. 40 years old, no-look spinning backhand from the corner. That's it. That's the one. Caps bench clears. They go to grab the puck, but they can't find it. Why? Well, Jordan Binnington got caught hiding the puck in his pants. Can't tell if he was playing a little joke or was actually salty. Probably a little Salt Lake City on that one, and I would be too if I let in 4 goals and got yanked. The Caps spanked the Blues, who are just awful, 6-1, and it's a bad day to be a beer gentleman. You know Ovi's going in the room and crushing beers with the boys to celebrate. On to the Leafs and Mammoth, where the parade has got to be back on by now. Austin Matthews is finding his groove here a bit. He's got goals in 3 straight, including this laser top bunk. And then on the night they honor John Tavares for scoring 500 goals, the man who left the island and took a pay cut this summer gets the game winner. Fun fact about the Leafs, the top 3 even strength scorers in the league are all Leafs in Nylander, Nyes, and Tavares. Not sure we expected that after Marner left, but that's a good sign for their offense. Out west, we got Nazem the Dream Kadri playing his 1,000th game. He pops one in the net for good measure too. This season has been miserable for Flames fans so far, but this was a baller performance from Dustin Wolf. That is a really good sign unless you want to tank, but they got a lot of those from him last year. He stopped 42 of 43 shots. Monster game as the Flames stomp Columbus 5-1 and have their first 2-game winning streak of the season. Wow. We had another sick goalie performance from Spencer the Dark Knight, too. He stopped 43 of 45 shots, and the Hawks get a cheeky hat trick from Tyler Bertuzzi. And that's all she wrote as the Hawks beat the Canucks. We finished the night with the Sharks and Kraken, and fellas, Macklin Celebrini is the real deal James Neal here. He stays red hot with an insanely quick release. He also had another 3-point game, and he ties Connor McDavid for the league lead in points at 19 years old. As the games go on here, I'm just not sure how you could possibly leave him off of the Team Canada roster at the Olympics. Seattle has been a low-key solid team to start the year, but they get spanked in this one by the Sharks, beating them 6-1 to end Wednesday. Now on to Thursday, where the Habs are in Jersey for a mix-up. Jakub Dobeš goes into this one being 6-0, and he was just a minute away from going 7-0 until Timo Meier ties the game late on this mad scramble. Then Jesper Bradatui puts it home on the breakaway in OT, and after the Canadiens have looked unbeatable in extra time, they've now dropped 2 past regulation in a row. Devils now reclaim first in the East. There was also some pretty big news heading into the Blues-Sabres game. First time you heard that. For those of you who don't know, Jordan Kyrou is a big part of the Blues. He's getting paid 8.5 sheets and is one of the Blues' best players, but Coach Jim Montgomery is trying to send a message that this ain't good enough. Right now, the Blues suck, so he's putting him in the press box to go eat some popcorn while they figure some stuff out on the ice. It was a perfect time to play Buffalo, though, I'll tell you that much. The Blues come out and shut the Sabres out in their own barn. They get booed off the ice for that effort, even though they were on a 7-game point streak. Over in Carolina, no defense and goaltending for the first period. 10 combined shots, and it was 3-2 Carolina after 20. We haven't even mentioned the Canes are also banged up right now. They're missing one of the best defensemen in the world in Jacob Slavin. A few more injuries on the back end too, and yet they're still handling business, 2 in a row for them. As for the Wild, what may just look like them having a slow start could actually just be them sucking. It was also just a week ago when the Bruins looked miserable. Well, here's just what everyone wanted, and that's Boston potentially being good. The depth is stepping up. Morgan Geekie, the Geek Squad, double digits in goals already. Then Pavel Zacha steps up to the plate for Boston and delivers an OT. The Bruins have now won 5 in a row. Start spreading the news. Then it is Sid versus Ovi, the 99th meeting of all time in their careers. I'm going to cry like a goddamn baby when both of these guys retire. We're watching some of the final matches of one of the greatest rivalries in hockey history, and the best part is that these 2 sickos can still play. Sid, the middle-aged man, back-to-back power play goals, puts the Penguins up 3-0. Ovi says, oh yeah? Puts the shot in the holster for a bit and sets up 2 goals of his own to tie it. But the lethal Penguins power play gets the winner in the third. The Penguins win and continue to look way better than we all thought. Now, I'll tell you right now, the Flyers beat the Preds because Nashville stinks, but the real drama came after with Ryan O'Reilly's comments. He was very critical of his own play, saying that he can't even make a 6-foot pass, and he's only had 1 good year in his career after just a brutal game. Now, there's nothing wrong with taking responsibility, but someone in that organization has got to grab the guy and remind him he's a Conn Smythe winner and still a good player. The confidence is completely gone right now, and times are very ugly in Nashville. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a total fire sale there by the deadline. Meanwhile, the Anaheim Ducks are like crack on ice. These guys are addicting to watch. The highest scoring team on a goals per game basis, and they show why in Dallas. Down 2-0 after one. The Ducks pop 4 in the second, including Gautier's 11th of the season. Then guess who double dips? Peta Guy from Sausage Party, Chris Kreider, with a huge bounce back season so far. He's got 9 goals in 9 games. The Ducks win 7-5 and have now scored 14 goals in the last 2 games, and that's the 4th time this season the Ducks have scored 7 in a game, and to boot, they're on a 5-game winning streak. In Vegas, a couple of LTIR merchants are getting after it. Nikita Kucherov doing what he does best in his rocking chair with a smoke and a pancake. Casual 3-point night for him. They beat Vegas 6-3. And finally, we have this year's Stanley Cup final. I got the script right here. Perry will lose in the finals against Florida. First, though, the 862-year-old man is dropping the mitts. Guy does everything. It wasn't enough in this game, though, as the other old man and Marchand gets a pair, and the Panthers get a much-needed win to close out Thursday. Now, as we head into the end of the week here, the Wild get some good news. Mats the Rat Zuccarello back in the lineup, which means him and the Carillionaire are going to catch fire here. Check this one out. Kaprizov between the legs to Zook. He says, I'll give it right back to you, and he wires one home. That is a nice passing play. Potential SeatGeek goal of the week right there. The Wild win this one 5-2. Let's go to Detroit. Don't ask any questions of how Jonathan Quick ended up this far out of his crease. All you got to know is that Patrick Kane has a wide open net, but look at Quick's paddle. Just a cheeky stick check, keeps it out. That's the good stuff right there. Rangers were on the road, so they're a wagon. They win 4-1 and are now 7-1-1 when they're playing anywhere but home. The Flames and Hawks are next, and the future is here. Spencer the Dark Knight gets a shutout, and Connor Bedard, 4-point night. 3 assists, comes in late, gets Dustin Wolf sliding into the Cancun airport. Bedard ties Macklin Celebrini for the league lead in points. Are you kidding me? The kids just want to go play for Canada and want to show who's the best future face of the league. So Celebrini says, oh yeah, anything you can do, I can do better. He buries a B-way goal of his own against Connor Hellebuck, adds an assist, and takes over the scoring lead as the Sharks win it 2-1 to get the Gen Z 500 record of 6-6-3. The future of the league is in fantastic hands with the Celebrini versus Bedard debate for years to come. So on to Saturday it is, hockey's holy day, where the Penguins and Devils go at it. Big story for the Penguins early this season is goaltending, and take a look at this. Artur Silas with the sweaty glove, no love. Oh, that is glovely. He robs Jack Hughes. This one goes to a shootout where Jesper Bradatui is going to get some revenge by making Shilovs slide like a fish across the crease. That's the winner. Devils take it. Extra time was also needed for the Flyers and Sens. Everyone gets a pity point tonight, and surprisingly, it has been a decent start for Philly this season, but woo-woo Timmy Stu calls game with the tap-in. Ottawa gets a big win there. Now, it ain't getting any prettier for the Preds, I'll tell you that much. They blow a 2-goal lead in the third to Dallas. They lose their 4th in a row, and it's hard to tell what's more pathetic, them or the Rangers. The Battle of New York is at MSG, and you know what that means. It's like the Monstars from Space Jam. Just find a way to steal every Rangers' ability to score goals on home ice every single game. At this point, it's almost inexplicable. They're getting into voodoo territory here. They get shut out again, 5-0 on home ice. That's 5 out of 7 times at home ice where they have been shut out this season. The Rangers may be the most mysterious team in the league because when they go on the road, they become wagons. Speaking of disasters, though, how about the Blues? Jordan Kyrou comes back into the lineup after getting health bombed. He hates the popcorn in the press box, so he scores, but the Blues may just be certified ass here. St. Louis is seconds away from winning, and Seattle scores with 0.5 seconds left. Buzzer beater right there. Blues fans were a little bit pissed that there was no goaltender interference on the tying goal, but really they should be more mad that their team is horrible. Seattle wins it in OT, and the nightmares continue in St. Louis. Those nightmares, however, never stopped in Buffalo. That's for damn sure. You can't lose every game in OT and expect again to dance, Buffalo. You gotta win one here. Carolina, though, they ain't gonna let that happen. They're hitting their stride for their 3rd win in a row, while the Sabres lose their 3rd in a row. They're dead last in the Atlantic, right back where we all thought they would be. Don't know if we expected the same from the Caps, though. Could they be Fugazis and were simply riding the Ovi goal chase last year? Who knows? It's still early, but they've looked wildly inconsistent this year. Tampa comes in, Vasilevsky puts in a legacy performance to keep Tampa rolling as of late. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. Same goes with Montreal. It seems like the party's never ending over there. Cole Caulfield takes the goal lead with his 11th and 12th of the season. This guy is locked in right now to make Team USA. It's a statement win for Montreal over Utah. The Mammoth have cooled down ever since I called them winners and had them ranked 5th in their power rankings. Sick call, stay hot, pal. You know who's also red hot are the Bruins. Boston versus Toronto. We all know Boston is winning this game. We don't know how yet. But let's play the Leafs Bruins bingo, shall we? Pastrnak goal, check. Someone on Boston absolutely dummying or bullying someone on Toronto. Yeah, check, that happened too. Zadorov sent Scotty Laughton into the Shadow Realm. And finally, a former Leaf scoring on the Leafs. You bet your ass that happened. Fraser Minton buries the game winner to somehow make the Scotiabank Library even quieter. Didn't even know that was possible. And the Bruins win their 6th in a row. Now let's check in on the future 2026 Cup champs taking on the defending champs. Celebrini is scorching hot right now. He scores again to maintain his spot as the league leader in points. But the other reason why the Sharks have been winning games is, funny enough, their goaltending. They stopped letting in pucks from center ice and have only allowed a combined 9 goals in their last 6 games. Sharks are 5-0-1 in this stretch and tie the Blackhawks for the second wildcard spot in the West. Would you look at that? Also, sign me up for the next decade of Ducks and Sharks games because the Ducks may also just be a wagon. Uncle Leo Carlson pots 2 goals in this game, including this backhand Roof Daddy-O Jr. And then in OT, it's the Trouba train, baby. No elbows to the head here, just a big boy driving the net and reminding the Tendy to close his damn legs. That's the OT winner. The Ducks have now won 6 in a row and are first in their division. Finally, we end with an absolute blowout. Oilers and Avs, McDavid versus McKinnon. This is supposed to be a good game. It wasn't. The Avs took over. The Nate Dogg, 4 points, 2 goals. McCarr, 2 goals himself. This was cookie night for the Avs. They demolished the Oilers 9-1 and went 0 for 7 on the power play to boot. That's kind of impressive. McDavid's just looking up thinking, why the did I sign that extension? Him and Leon get that signature shot on the bench yet again, where they seemingly hit rock bottom on the year and then probably go on to win 10 games straight. And they're going to have to do that again because that ties their worst loss in franchise history, and they're off to another miserable start of the season. Shocker. So what did you think of week 5? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. SeatGeek goal of the week for me, I got to go with Ovi. 900th goal, no looker backhand, all on a beer leaguer physique. Can't beat that. We got a Celebrini and Bedard breakdown coming on the channel this week, and you know we do these recaps every Sunday, so make sure you don't miss a thing for the NHL season by turning on notifications and subscribing to the channel.